So another lunchtime session to spend together. For those of us who don't know me, I'm Shivani Sinurain, and I believe in knowledge, right? I believe that knowledge should be, constantly, people should be constantly growing in whatever capacity that you are in. So today, and one of, I would always say tools, anybody who knows me understand that I preach tools, right? Tools to do a job. Whether it's technology, spreadsheets, whatever it is, you need tools to grow in your job. Today, we're going to discuss dashboards, creating dashboards in Microsoft Excel. Last week, we had a very interesting session on Power BI, and we learned to do dashboards actually using Power BI. So today, we're going to do Excel, but really learning to create dashboards in Excel. It's quite, when we do it, people are very amazed that, wow, Excel got that great feature. So again, I will just like to welcome everyone into the session, wherever you are. I know we have people from Jamaica, Belize, all over, tuning in into this session. So again, thank you all for being part of this. So what I'm going to do now is share my screen. We're going to do it in Excel and just do a demonstration on how we can do a dashboard. And remember now, Precious, Kerry, Sharon, everybody, welcome. Vanessa, I'm seeing some names that I know as well. Everyone now wants to present information to executive management. You may be working in a project and you need to present data to make decisions. And you have tools to do it. Excel, you could present it in dashboards. A while back in project management, we used to call it, besides dashboards, you could call it presenting spreadsheets, and you see tables. But now it's really dashboards, right? That everything could be at a quick glance, and you see nice charts and data to help you to make better decisions. So this is what we want to do a demonstration on. Of course, anyone feel free, type in the chat and let us know. Let us know what you're doing, if you're following along or not. Or even if you want to say something, by all means, put on your mic or even put on your camera. We'd love to see you. So here we go. So I'm just going to share my screen and I'm going to get an Excel spreadsheet to get going here. So I hope everyone is seeing it. Great. So I think I have some sheets of data. Let me just remove these things. Great. I'll delete this sheet. Delete. So I have one sheet here that got some data. I hope everybody is seeing it. Vanessa, are you seeing it? Right. Alwyn saying he's seen it. Thank you. So just some basic data. You could use any data. I have country, products, units sold, revenue, cost, profit, and date. And we want to run a dashboard. We want to really create a dashboard now. So if you look below, you'll be seeing sheet 1, which is my data. So I'm just going to, good management of Excel. You must have your names, below, that you wouldn't get confused, because I tend to get confused when I don't name it. So I'm going to say this is my data sheet. So my data sheet will have all of this information on it. Now I'm going to sheet 2, and I'm going to say this is where I'm going to create my wonderful dashboard. So I'm going to create my dashboard here. Now, what is a dashboard? How would it look? I'm going to just write, let's say it is a performance dashboard that I want to do, a performance dashboard. So I'm just going to drop something. I'm going to just say insert. It's a shape. I could create a shape or even a text box, to write in a word. So I'll say insert. Let me just look for the text box. Text, yeah, I could do it here. Text box, no problem. And, writing up something. Performance dashboard. So this is my performance dashboard. Of course, I can now go and home. I can make it center. I can capitalize this. Great. So this is my performance dashboard, and I can do my basic color and anything that I want to do here. I can create in my performance dashboard. All right. So I'm just going to ensure that it is a little larger here for me. So this is, I'm going to start my performance dashboard using Excel. So for those of us who joined in, we're using Microsoft Excel to create a performance dashboard. If you look, you are seeing data sheet as a tab, and now I have dashboard, right? So this is where my performance dashboard on this sheet, this is where I'm going to put everything here. I'm going to create my nice charts and create it into a dashboard. You know, and remember what we said, Alwyn, you know, in project management, we're looking for tools. We have Power BI. Last week, we learned something in Power BI to create dashboard, but in Excel, you could create dashboard. I'm looking at the names here, and I know some of us are in projects, and we know you always have to produce dashboards. You have to show data, turn it into some type of information, into a report in order to make decisions. And it all comes down to, you know, this is one of my favorite lines, right? You need to move from becoming more data-driven to become more knowledge-driven. And anybody who knows me in projects, that's how we speak, right? Moving from data-driven to becoming more knowledge-driven. You have the data, and what do you do with the data? But the data must be, you know, packaged in a way that you could make better decisions from. If you don't have the data, you can't make any decision. You have to remember that. So I'm going back to my data sheet. It's a simple example, whatever data you have, right? I have country, products, units sold, revenue, cost, and profit and date. So here we go. I'm going to, I want to put this on a sheet. So I might add another sheet, and I might say this sheet is products. Let me say products sold, yeah. Products sold by country, yeah. I may put it there. So I'm going to my data sheet, and I'm going to insert, because this is a pivot table I'm going to do. So I'm going to click on insert, and I'm going to click on pivot table. Now, where's the pivot table? The range that I'll be using is this, right? Just like a normal, I'm just going to highlight. I could highlight everything, yeah. Well, let me look and put it here, highlight it. Great. So this is the data sheet. I've highlighted everything. And where do you want to put it? I'm going to say put it in an existing, worksheet. No, in a new worksheet. Okay, so it's in a new worksheet, right? And I'm going to label that products sold by country. Yeah. Well, I'll rename it just now. Good. So immediately, I'm creating now a pivot table. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm creating a pivot table. Now, we said we could have countries and we could have products and profit. So in my first pivot table that I'm going to then take and drag onto my dashboard, I'm going to create some fields here, right? So I'm clicking on country. So I'm clicking on country and dragging it to rows. Yeah, I could do that, rows. And I'm clicking on products and I'm dragging it to columns. And then I'm clicking on profit, everybody, and dragging it to values. So indeed, I have created a simple pivot table with some data that I have originally. So this is a pivot table. So let me get you all involved in this conversation. what are we trying to do, everybody? What we are trying to do here is to create a dashboard to show to show data that we could probably help organizations to make better decisions. It's all going on the term becoming more knowledge driven based on the data that you have. So moving from data driven now to knowledge driven. We're saying we're creating a dashboard. How did we do this? We have the data, right? So we have the data where? We have the data in datasheet here. All I did was go to insert pivot table, make sure that this is the table that I want, and I'm putting it now in an existing, not in an existing worksheet, in a new worksheet. Then this is the worksheet. I dragged and I dropped. I dragged and I dropped different, the table. I've put country in rows. I've put what again? Profit in value. And I have put products in columns. And look, I'm having rows. I have Africa, Belize, India, Jamaica, Trinidad, cheesecake, chocolate chip, fortune chip, Oreo, and grand total. Right? I didn't have that in this way, but it's now being created in the form of a pivot table, which a lot of us will know. But you know, a dashboard should have some type of chart in it, right? So how do I create the chart? I'm going again to pivot table analyze. I could go to pivot table analyze. And I'm seeing the word pivot chart, right? I'm going to pivot chart. So is this a chart that you want? A cluster? Yeah, okay. I could look at bar. Let me click on bar. And I can say, all right, this looks like one that I want. May not be. I can just go and select anyone. But I'm clicking on, I'm using a bar chart, right? And I click OK. Look, my bar chart right here. Now, this is on a new sheet. This is not part of my dashboard. So I want to take this now, this chart, and put it onto my dashboard. So this is having countries, and it is actually showing you the revenue or the profit that is made from Oreo, from chocolate chip, from cheesecake, yeah? So what do? I go Control C to copy it. And I can go to dashboard once again. And I'm going to the left and Control V, which is a shortcut, to bring it across. So what have I just done there? I created a chart which shows me what? It shows me country revenue, everybody. It shows me country revenue and revenue profit and the products that I'm selling, right? And the products that I'm selling. So I'm seeing my countries and I'm seeing the amount, which is a little bit of money here, you know, in terms of the profit that I am making. But I'm creating a dashboard. So on this dashboard, I want 2 more charts, right? I want to create a chart that will give you information. That's what I'm trying to do. Before we move on, could anybody get in the conversation and tell us what are your key takeaways up to this point? So I'm seeing folks in the conversation here. Could anybody give us key takeaways so far? Alwyn, could you help us a little bit? Thank you. Thank you for volunteering. Alwyn, Nadia. What are your key takeaways? Who was here at the beginning? Vicky, you want to say what you have learned so far? No, Vicky, not with us. I think Nakisa, you just came in. What about Kerry, Vanessa? Anyone? Okay, so people are typing on the chat. Okay, how to make a pivot table.
Yeah. And how to do a pivot. This is scary. And how to do a pivot chart.
How to do a pivot chart. Correct. How to do a pivot chart. Right. Good. That's what we just learned. How to do a pivot chart. How did we do that? How did we create the pivot chart?
But firstly, you did the dashboard. You took the data from the data sheet.
So I
The
went to data sheet here
the
because I came in with a data sheet, right?
sheet, right? And then you went to the pivot table, and you was able to put the different columns and stuff into different rows, columns, and therefore you made a pivot table.
Good. So all I did was to go to insert and I went to
Mhm.
pivot table, right? And I
Yeah.
just highlighted this information and made sure that it came on a new sheet as a chart, as a table first, and then I brought it into a chart.
Then you put it in different categories according to axis, wherever you wanted it, and it generated the table, and from the table you was able to make the chart.
Good. Great. So I'm going back now to products sold by, well, this is sheet 1, right? So let me make sure that I name this properly, products sold, right? And it's in my dashboard right here already. So I'm going now again to data sheet, right? This time I'm going to create another pivot table, right? I want to create another pivot table. So I'm going again to insert and I'm going to pivot table. Highlight again. I need to highlight the table. I must highlight the table, right? Right, so Cindy is asking, hi Shivani, if you change the data in the pivot table, will it update the bar chart? Yes, it will. We'll see. Great, Cindy, so you're with me. So you have a data sheet. Now what? What could we do again? Expand it, put it on a new worksheet, because I want it in a new worksheet this time. And creating another pivot chart. That's what I'm doing. Cindy, I'm creating another pivot chart, right? So the pivot chart that I will create will be what now? The pivot chart will be unit sold. And let me put unit sold. Yeah, I could put unit sold in rows. Yeah. No, I want to put unit sold in values. Let me put unit sold in values. And let me put date. Let me do dates. I have a column named dates, don't I? Yes. Let me get dates. So I am using date now. This is another dates in row. Yeah, okay. So I'm seeing all the units that I sold by a particular date. That's what I wanted to do, right? Good. So what should I do here again? So this is another pivot table, right? That I'm going to create and put it again on my dashboard. Because on my dashboard, let me go back to dashboard sheet. I'm trying to create a performance dashboard. The first chart here is showing me countries and products and, the profit. The second one, I'm just going to show units sold by date. Right, units sold by date, which is this. But I have to now create a chart based on that data. So how do I create a chart based on that data? I go to pivot table again, right? And I go to pivot chart. Okay, so it's by date, and really and truly when you do date, you should do it in a line, line chart kind of makes better sense here. So I'm seeing it in a line, I choose line, great, and I'm gonna click OK. And wait, look, I got my line chart now. That's telling me by date and how much units probably I sold. Remember, you can select what you want, right, to make sense out of your data. So what I have to do, Cindy, is Control and C. And as I hit Control and C, what do? I go now to dashboard. I select somewhere on the dashboard and I go Control and V. And wait, it's happening. I'm creating something here. So I am creating something here. I can make this a little smaller. You know, I can adjust it. Remember, I'm creating a dashboard. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm creating a dashboard, right? Good. So this one was by dates. Then I go to what? I can go back to data sheet again. No, and I have that somewhere. I think that is sheet 6 now. Yes. So what is this? This will be units sold by what? By date, right? So this is units sold now by date. Yeah. Then what? After I have units date by, let me go back to the dashboard. Okay, so the dashboard taking shape now, Cindy. The dashboard is taking shape. So let me go and put one more chart at the bottom here and the bottom right to show another piece of information. So what I'm trying here to do, everybody, is to create a dashboard to probably sell something, tell somebody executive, hey, Trinidad making the least profit, or India making more, Africa making more, just by looking at the data, because you need to make decisions based on your data. The point is, we are using a tool to make us knowledge-driven. But knowledge-driven does nothing for us if we don't know the data. You must have the data. Last week when we did Power BI, let me go back to the data sheet, please. When we talk about Power BI, we have to keep speaking what? We have to keep speaking a data set. Now, as we go further in our conversations, you know, well, not for today, lunch and learn, but in other sessions, we have to be able to construct a data set. If you do not have a data set, you can't pull any data and you can't make any decisions. That's what it is. So a lot of times I've seen in organizations and with people, we pull in data and then you're trying to do, you know, all of these fancy performance dashboards and all of that, and things not working. It's not because you don't know the tool. You know Microsoft Excel, or you know Power BI, or next week you'll do one in Tableau. You know the tools. But what is the wrong thing, or the first thing that you need to improve on is the collection of data to present a very good data set, So data set is very important. Great. And then I'm going to go back to my data sheet again. And as I said, we are going to do one more pivot and insert it into our dashboard. That's what we're going to try to do. We're going to insert it into our dashboard. How do we do that? Somebody could walk me through. Come on, you know, it's dashboard, and you know, I like the interaction. I want to make sure you're all with me. Anyone could tell me what I want to do now. Cindy, what I want to do, or anyone. I want to create another pivot table, another pivot chart to place in my dashboard. Can anybody remind me? Carrie,
Yes,
thank you.
Yeah, you go on insert.
You go to insert, thanks, right? Step by step.
Pivot table, drop down.
So I'm clicking on the tab, pivot table.
And you highlight your selection from country to your range.
Right. So when you see table range here, you have to, you know, select it, right? And we said, what you said to do, Carrie, I followed your instructions.
Yes, select from column row 1
to
the end, but straight across to the last. Yes, right. And then you go on new worksheet.
Could I do it on existing worksheet?
Oh, sorry,
could
yes,
I do it?
Existing, yes, because
No,
you want to put on the same.
No, it's up to you. But I'm asking, could I do it in the existing worksheet? Yes, I could. But it will now appear in this data, right? And I want to, you know, have better control and look of everything that I'm doing. So I'll click on new worksheet as was what we were doing, right?
Click
yeah.
OK.
Click OK. And we could create another one, right? I want this time to say products. Yes, products by month. Yes, products by month. Do I have a month column in here? I think last time we did units sold, right? Units sold. This time we could do products by date. Yeah, let's do products by date. So I would put again date in rows. Yeah, I could do date in rows. I could even do date in columns. And we are saying, let's put profit, right? Profit and value. You realize value needs to be the number, right, Kerry? Value must be the number when you are dragging and dropping.
Yes.
You're seeing profit. And what this is telling me, well, which month I made the most profit? Yeah, which month I made the most profit? Yeah. Good. Great. So this is another sheet. I'll say I'll label it now. Profit by what? Profit by what we said. Profit by date, right, Kerry?
Yes.
Profit by date, Kerry. Yeah.
Okay.
And then what? What could I do again? Could you select existing? Sorry, let's have a question, right? So Cindy is asking, could you select existing worksheet and then copy the chart to the desired worksheet? Yes, yes, you can do that. Yes, yes, you can do that. Great. But I just want to have it in different tabs and have it there. But you could do what you're saying too. Good. So I have the table. What should I do next, Kerry? What should I do next?
Pivot table analyze. I think you go on select. If you go on that pivot table analyze, select. Now you select the right
pivot table.
one.
Yeah, sorry, pivot table analyze and pivot chart. I wasn't seeing pivot chart, right?
Yeah.
So, I had to select it. So I do what now? Pivot chart, right?
Yes.
I could select what
and you select your charts.
You see, like a rule of thumb, right? Which chart to use best to show what information out. This is a very important aspect too, Kerry, because it really depends on the information that you want to present and the type of chart. Because how many times we sit down in meetings, and especially now visual, right? Like here, and you see in this information, they present it in a pie or histogram, and it makes no sense, right? It makes sense, but you're losing out. So you really have to analyze what will be the best type of chart, right? The best type of chart to use to present the information properly. Just as how you had a data set, and we want to use the jargon, right? Just as how you have a data set, you want to have, you want to know what type of chart to show the information best. That's what I want us to keep getting at, to show the information best. So rule of thumb, when you are presenting like dates and stuff, it's good to do it in a line. That's just a rule of thumb. But of course, we can do our own lessons learned, and because this is lessons learned from us, what you believe will show the best information in your organization and for whatever you want to present to people. So I'll leave it as a line, right? And I'm clicking OK. Right, no problem here. What now? What should I do with this now? Profit by date. You all recollect?
You copy it and put it across to the folder.
Right, so you copy it.
The dashboard.
Yes, so you copy. You go to what? Control C. Most of us will know what we're talking about. Control C. And then what?
Go to the dashboard tab.
Which was under dashboard here. Yes. And I can just come below and Control V. Good. And, you know, I start to create my nice dashboard. I start to create my dashboard. So before I do one thing again, because I want to see, yes, it's making a little sense already, but I want to show another really good feature that really gels this entire thing together, you know? Could anyone tell us, what is this performance dashboard all about? What have you gained from this little knowledge so far? I hope it's knowledge so far. Anyone? Cindy, you want to tell us? You could speak, you could type, anything you want to say. Right, who's telling us? Okay. Anyone who wants to tell us what they have gained so far from this? We have seen graphical representation of the data. Okay, great, Alwyn. Graphical representation of the data. Yes, correct. And we are trying to create now a dashboard. It's a performance dashboard, right? What were the three charts that we showed? Kerry, what were the three charts, the three type of charts? Do you remember, Kerry?
Is it like, you mean by date, by months, and by units sold?
Correct. Yeah. So you have units sold. Now I could come to each chart and I can put a title, you know, I could fancy this thing up. Remember, I can change the colors and everything, right? So we are saying, I think the first one was country by product sold, right? Country profit by revenue, yeah. The second was sum of the units sold. You want to know the profit by date, or not profit, that was units. And then the other one was profit by date again. Yeah, so you have different ones. Good. So I want to show another nice feature here, right? Which is pivot chart analyze. Now let's look at this. A pivot chart analyze. Now when I look at a pivot chart analyze, let me go to insert slicer. I want to look at insert slicer and show something. Clicking on insert slicer, and I'm going to say country. I'm going to click country, and I'm going to click on products. Two things, country and products. Did I do that? Click OK. Now look, it comes in here. I have country and products. Now, this is a really good feature. So I'm going to click on country on the left-hand side. Did I move it? It's not moving. Bring forward. And then I could have back, I could have my products here. Now, watch what happens. I'm going to right click. Good. And I'm going to say report connections. I'm going to right click and I'm going to say report connections, because I'm going to show us with country and product, folks, I have inserted a slicer. A slicer comes like a filter. And when I click on report connections by country, I want to link it to each pivot table. So I'm linking it all, right? Linking it all. Click OK. What do you notice is happening? Oh my goodness, this is such great stuff. What do you notice is happening when I click on each? So I go to the left and I click on Africa. I am seeing Africa with chocolate chip. I'm seeing Africa with sum of units sold, and I'm seeing sum of profit. I think it would have been on the particular date. Jamaica. What is happening there? What you realize that I've just done? I've made this dashboard an interactive dashboard, all by doing one thing. What was it? Inserting a what?
License.
A slicer. So I'll do this over again, right? And you all will walk me through how to do it. Slicers, yes, Alwyn. Now with product again, this was a slicer. I'm going to right click and I'm going to do what? Report connections. Now, the reason that you say in report connections is that you had these 3 different pivot tables, Kerry, and you want to ensure that the slicer is a link up now to each pivot table, because if it wasn't, I would be clicking on one and it is not going to work. And then you'll say, oh my gosh, this thing not working, something wrong with Excel, nothing wrong with the thing, right? It's just doing something. So I will then hit on every single pivot table. I'll select it there. And when I select it, I'll just simply click OK. Yeah, I'll simply click OK. And look, I have chocolate chip. I've seen anywhere who had chocolate chip or Oreo. I think it was only cheesecake was in Trinidad. Yes, I think only cheesecake was in Trinidad. Chocolate chip. So I have created a slicer, folks, that will do what? What is the purpose of the slicer? What are you seeing the slicer to be? What was the purpose of the slicer? I'm seeing Vaughn, Vicky, Vanessa. Anyone would like to say anything? Yeah, what was the purpose of the slicer? Right, somebody type in the chat. They act as dynamic filters. Yes, they act as dynamic filters. That's what I want you all to keep remembering. They act as dynamic filters. So here's what I'm going to do, right? I'm just going to do this thing over so that you could see. For those of us who missed it, but I also have a tape recorded. So the purpose of performance dashboard is to be able to present your data, make it fancy in Excel, that you could now share information with executives, with yourself, facilities management, projects, what have you. I mean, as we keep saying in project management, I always have to produce dashboards, right? And you can do it in Excel, you can do it. You know, this just makes me always think about, recently I had to do, I did a report writing. It was a session for a ministry, me. And, you know, the data was so static. The data was so static. And there are so many different ways to present data. Nowadays, people don't want to read. You want to read text. You don't want to read text. You want to see the data being brought so quickly to you and dynamic that you will be able to make better decisions. So that's what I want you all to keep remembering. Data is there. How do you use the data to form better knowledge from this? So I go back to my data sheet, right? I go back to my data sheet. I'm going to create a new dashboard. I'm going to say dashboard 2. Right? I'm going to say dashboard 2. When I click on dashboard 2, I go to what? I go to data sheet back. Kerry, could you help me? Walk me through what to do, please.
So you select the areas. So from country down to the last dates.
Let me go insert first, right?
Yes. Pivot table. Well, select now.
Right, I select what I want, which is from country. And as you're doing this, Kerry, I want you to always remember, you must have your data set. Now, you want to use the jargon properly. Remember, it's all about data analytics. It's all about data science and making decisions based on data, right? The tool is really good. As we showed last week, we could do Power BI, and there's so much more to us to learn in Power BI. We could use Excel as we are doing. Next week, I'll do one on Tableau and show how Tableau could work as a tool as well. But what is missing then, Kerry? You could use any tool, but if I don't have the data set proper, I can't make, there's nothing there, right? There's nothing there. You with me, right, Kerry?
Correct, yes, I am.
So now I say new worksheet, and I click OK. It's a pet peeve of mine, Kerry. That's why I keep speaking like that, right? But not having the data set. And I find people are using these buzzwords so much, data-driven. And I say, you want to become more data-driven? Let me see your data set. They don't even know what the data set is, right? But you're using these buzzwords. So we don't want to use the we want to use the buzzwords, but we want to use the buzzwords correctly. So I say, okay. Now what?
You go on to pivot table analyze.
Right. Well, I could put the table right here. I could go to country. I'll put country where? I'll put country in columns. I could also put products in rows. And I could put profit, we said, in value. Now, remember, you could change whatever you want. I'm just selecting because I'm building the data sheet here, right? But for you to remember this thing, value must always be some type of number. You know, you'll get it in a number. This is it here. Then we showed I can go to pivot chart. And when I go to pivot chart, I have what? I can do bar, where bars, right? And I click OK. Here it is. Then I do what? I control and C, right? I do control and C. And I go back to data sheet, is it? No, not data sheet. Dashboard. So I have a new dashboard, right? And I just control and V. And I go back to my data sheet. And I go again to insert. And I go to pivot table. And I could do what now? Again, table, country. And then I go to new worksheet. Click OK. This one we said was what? Unit sold. Yeah, we could put unit sold in rows. And I think we said we could put date. Did we? Kerry?
Yes, date.
So you could put date in value. Oh, yeah, I think we put date on columns and we put unit sold on the value. Yeah, so we could have, you know, see values of what you sold per date. And then I come and I click on pivot chart. I select now line. And I click OK. I go control and C. I go control and C. I go to dashboard. No, I go to dashboard here. And I bring in something again. Right, so I have it coming up. And then I can go back and create one more pivot chart here. I go to data sheet again. I go to pivot, insert pivot table. I highlight everything. I go to new worksheet, click OK. Which one we said for this one? Because we're just doing it over, same thing. We could have product now under columns and date. No, well, we should have dates in rows and product in values. Yeah. You just can move around the data. Then you go to pivot chart. It is a line again I may want. Click OK. Control and C to copy it and put it in your dashboard. I put it underneath. Great. So this was my dashboard, right? But we learned, okay, so you have all your nice country here and you're seeing it in these different charts. But we said we learned one thing again, which was what? Interactive dashboard. And an interactive dashboard is really now making it dynamic, as Alwyn said, which I went to what? I have to get back, pivot chart analyze. I go to insert slicer. I select country, and I could select product, we said. So select whatever you want. I'm just selecting these two. I click OK. And I'm seeing these things coming up here, all looking nice. All right. Now I have to ensure that I link it to the pivot chart, which is my dashboard, by simply going to right click, report connections, and I use which pivot table it is now. I think it will be 11, 12, and 13. No, 12, 13, 9, 10, 11 would have probably been the first one. And then 12, 13. And 11. I remember. You just have to know which table it is, right? And then if I click on Africa, look at what is coming up. I'm seeing Africa, and the product was chocolate chip. I could click on Trinidad. Trinidad just did cheesecake alone. Make sense? Kerry, what do you think about that? I thought I found interactive dashboard. You could do so much.
Yeah, same here.
What's it? You like it? Yeah, Cindy, you like this, right? You like the slicer. Yes, Cindy, the slicer. There's one thing again I was looking for. Pivot chart analyze. There was a timeline. I wanted to see there. You can't create a timeline because it doesn't have a field formatted. Okay, I don't have a field as date. Yes, but I could end up in this. Right, so come on, let's see what I have learned. What are you leaving with? Because it's just a lunchtime, and guess what? An hour almost passed already. That means we were having, oh my, 50 minutes. It means we were having great time. Good? Means we were having a fabulous time. So let's see what you have learned from this session. Your key takeaways, everyone, is saying that this is a tool, Microsoft Excel. Now, we went and we did a while back conditional formatting and Power Pivot and all those different tools. We learned quite a lot in Excel already. But today I wanted to show the creation of interactive dashboards, right? Interactive dashboards can do what for you? You build in a dashboard to show information rather than writing up something. Everything could be in a nice one sheet, and you could create slices. This can be done in Power BI. We saw it last week. You could do these things in Power BI. Power BI will be a little less work done in Excel, but both are excellent tools. Look, we did it right here, interactive dashboard. I remember somebody was telling me, but Shivani, where they're showing off on me now, I could only do Power BI in with dashboards. I said, here what? You could show off too. Excel, you could do interactive dashboards as well. And they were so amazed, so amazed. There are a little more features, obviously, in Power BI, different types of charts, cards, you know, different features that will allow you to create nicer looking dashboards. But in a nutshell, both can create interactive dashboards. Are there any questions, anyone, so far? No
Yes,
questions?
one from me. One from me. Thanks for the session. Thank you. Just one question about the last session. I only learned about you guys this week. Is it possible that you can share the recording with me for the Power BI that was last week?
Of course, once you are part of our database, you will get the updates, right? And you could just send us an email if you didn't get it, but it will come from Caribbean Connect, these lunch and learn sessions.
Thank you.
Right? And just forward us emails. So, you know, Tuesdays, I like Tuesdays, lunch and learn. I don't know, I think Tuesdays is always a good day. So I look forward to seeing you all next week, Tuesday, where we will do Tableau. We'll learn Tableau. Have you ever heard about Tableau? And you could again do a lot of good things in Tableau to present. These are different tools. And guess what? You need to learn tools, right? As we keep saying. So thank you, everyone. Of course, you all know how to reach me, right? You know how to reach me. And we keep learning, we keep learning, we keep learning. Now, I look forward for also you all could participate in our training. We have a Power BI training, we have Excel analytics training. So we have different training that you could also participate with. So I look forward for next week, Tuesday, seeing you all for Tableau. I know everybody got to go back to their jobs and, you know, you have all your meetings and stuff. Thank you, everyone. If there are no questions, thanks again. Thanks, Cindy. Keep in touch and keep learning, keep learning, keep learning.
Thank you very
Learning is
much.
the key. Thank you.